Rank 1. The civilian. The year is 1939. You are not a soldier. You are just living your life. Working, walking familiar streets, eating dinner with your family, listening to the radio in the evenings. War feels distant. Something that happens in newspapers. Something far away in another country. Then one morning, the radio broadcast changes. The voice sounds different. Serious. Heavy. Your country is now at war. At first, life continues almost normally. Shops stay open. Children still play outside. People go to work like always. But slowly everything begins to change. Food becomes rationed. Lines form outside markets. Young men disappear from the neighborhood one by one. Factories begin working day and night. Soldiers appear at train stations. Then the sirens begin. Air raid sirens echo across the city. People rush into shelters. Bombs fall somewhere in the distance. The ground trembles beneath your feet. Dust drifts from the ceiling. When the sirens finally stop, you step outside. Smoke rises from a building down the street. Windows are shattered everywhere. War is no longer far away. Now it lives where you do. Rank 2. The factory worker. You are not fighting on the battlefield, but the war still controls your life. The factory never sleeps. Day shift turns into night shift. Machines roar constantly. Sparks flash across the dark factory floor. You build tanks, aircraft engines, ammunition. Weapons you will never fire yourself. The air smells like metal, oil, and smoke. Posters hang on the walls above the machines. Every bullet counts. Victory depends on you. Supervisors walk the aisles watching production numbers carefully. Everyone works faster than before. Some workers are barely adults. Others are old men who should already be retired. Women replace workers who left for the army. Everyone knows the truth. If the machines stop moving, the soldiers at the front run out of weapons. So the belts keep turning. The metal keeps cutting. And the factory lights stay on long after the sun disappears. Rank 3. The recruit. One morning, a letter arrives in the mail. A draft notice. Your country needs soldiers. You pack a small bag with only the essentials. Your mother tries to hide her tears. Your father gives you a quiet handshake that says more than words ever could. At the train station, hundreds of young men gather together. Some joke loudly to hide their nerves. Some stare silently at the ground. The train whistle echoes across the platform. The doors close and the journey begins. Training camp is strict and exhausting. Officers shout commands from sunrise until nightfall. You learn how to march for miles without stopping, how to fire a rifle accurately, how to crawl through mud while bullets crack overhead during drills. At first, it almost feels like an adventure, a test of strength and courage. But the day you board the transport heading toward the front line, everything changes. The excitement disappears. What replaces it is something much quieter: fear. Rank 4. The infantry soldier. The front line looks nothing like the posters back home. Mud stretches in every direction. Cold rain falls endlessly. The distant thunder of artillery never truly stops. You dig trenches with frozen hands. Your boots sink into the ground with every step. Food arrives when it can. Sleep comes in short, restless bursts. Sometimes hours pass quietly while both sides wait and watch. Then suddenly the world explodes into noise. Machine guns roar across the battlefield. Shells slam into the earth, throwing dirt into the air. Soldiers run forward through smoke and confusion. Orders are shouted but barely heard. Friends disappear in seconds. Some fall and never rise again. The battlefield moves slowly. One village today, another tomorrow. Victory is measured in meters of land. But the cost is measured in lives. Rank 5. The tank crew. Inside the tank, the world becomes small and loud. Metal walls surround you on every side. The engine shakes the entire vehicle as it moves forward. The smell of fuel fills the cramped space. Your crew becomes your entire world. The driver watches the narrow path ahead. The gunner studies targets through a tiny sight. The commander gives constant orders through the noise. Outside, the tank explosions flash across the battlefield. Enemy shells strike the armor with deafening force. Sometimes they bounce away harmlessly. Sometimes they punch through the metal. Tanks around you erupt into fire and smoke, a burning steel coffin for anyone trapped inside. There is barely space to move, barely space to breathe. But the tracks keep rolling forward across the field, because stopping in the open means becoming the next target. Rank 6, the fighter pilot. The sky becomes your battlefield. Your aircraft roars down the runway and climbs into the clouds. The ground quickly disappears beneath you. From above, the war stretches across entire countries. Smoke rises from cities far below. Bombers fly in tight formations like giant birds moving across the sky. Enemy fighters appear suddenly on the horizon. Within seconds, the quiet sky turns into chaos. Machine guns flash across the clouds. Aircraft dive and twist through the air at impossible speeds. One moment, you chase an enemy plane through the clouds. The next moment, another fighter appears behind you, firing relentlessly. Every mission could be the last one you ever fly. Some pilots never return from patrol. Others limp back to base with damaged wings and shattered engines. But the next day, the surviving pilots climb back into their cockpits and take off once again. Rank 7. The resistance fighter. Not all battles happen on open battlefields. Some wars are fought in silence. You live inside a city controlled by enemy forces. Soldiers patrol every street corner. Posters cover the walls demanding obedience. Curfews lock the city down after sunset. But underground groups begin forming quietly. Meetings happen in basements and hidden rooms. Secret radios whisper messages across borders in the middle of the night. You sabotage railways that carry enemy supplies. You pass information about troop movements. Sometimes you guide escaping prisoners through dark forests beyond the city limits. Every mission carries enormous risk. If you are captured, there will be no mercy, no trial. But people continue resisting anyway, because freedom is worth the danger. Rank 8. The spy. Your battlefield is deception. You live behind a false identity deep inside enemy territory. Every day requires careful acting. Every conversation could expose you. You listen carefully during meetings. You study documents left carelessly on desks. Important information travels in secret messages hidden inside ordinary letters. Radios transmit coded signals during quiet nights. A single piece of intelligence can change an entire battle. But spies exist in constant danger. One suspicious officer, one betrayed contact, one mistake while sending a message, and the entire operation collapses instantly. In the world of espionage, the smallest detail can determine life or death. Rank 9. The general. You stand far from the battlefield, but the war still passes through your hands. Maps cover the walls of the command room. Colored markers show the movement of armies across entire continents. Messengers bring reports from the front every hour. You study the positions carefully. Attack here. Hold this line. Retreat before the enemy surrounds you. Every decision sends thousands of soldiers into danger. From this distance, the battlefield looks like a game of strategy, lines and arrows moving across paper. But you know what each arrow truly means. Thousands of lives placed at risk with a single command. War becomes a terrible calculation, because victory always demands sacrifice. Rank 10. The survivor. The year is 1945. After years of destruction, the war finally ends. Cities across the world lie shattered. Bridges collapsed. Factories destroyed. Entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble. Millions of soldiers never return home. Millions of civilians vanished in the chaos. But somehow you survived. You walk slowly through streets that once felt familiar. Now they are silent and broken. People begin clearing debris from the roads. Children return to the streets cautiously. Factories start rebuilding their machines. Life slowly begins again. The world that emerges after the war will never be the same. Borders change, nations rebuild, and the people who lived through those years carry memories that will last forever. Because once you have seen war with your own eyes, you understand a truth that history books can never fully explain. The cost of war is measured not in victories, but in the lives forever changed by it.